This is Julian, and welcome to Transformation Mastery. Now, quick heads up here before we both start venturing deep down the rabbit hole together. This is the most in-depth and the most extensive program that I've ever created. Okay, straight up. And because of that, in order to help me bring all of this information to you in a very clear, straightforward, and comprehensive way, I'm going to be using the help of my notes. Okay, I have them on my laptop right here, and this whiteboard. So you're going to see me look at you, look at the notes, look at the whiteboard. I'm going to be bouncing between the three. Embrace that, as that is the format. And I've also opted for a much more lighthearted and carefree format here than some of my previous programs in terms of success with women. Okay, where it's me, showing up in front of the camera and very intensely shooting information at you, just ba-ba-ba. For this one here, let's let it breathe a little. Okay, so that being said, I want to start here by asking you a question. Okay, and that is, how does it feel being you? What's it like? Okay, and before you give me your go-to answer that you've probably given a fucking million times before, like, hey, how are you doing? I'm good, or meh, okay, whatever you're used to saying. I want us to start with an exercise here, and I want us to bring some awareness to the different sensations going on in our bodies, because that will give you the real honest answer. I don't want the mental answer. I don't want the answer just out of habits. I want to really know what it's like being you, okay? And we're going to start with an exercise. I expect you to do it. I expect you to participate. This isn't just a program where you intellectually take the information in. It's a much more experiential approach. So do it now, okay? Close your fucking eyes. Like, close them. Shut your fucking eyes now. And bring your awareness into your body, okay? And this is something that we're not used to doing, okay? In the society that we live in today, we're, continuously on the run, kind of escaping ourselves, looking for different distractions, different things to do, the next thing. We're conditioned to pretty much never be with ourselves. We're conditioned not to feel. And this is what we're going to do here, okay? For a little while, we're simply going to be with ourselves, okay? So take some deep breaths and simply hang out in there. What's it like being you? What's going on in there? Okay, what is this experience you're having right now of being you? Okay, and bring some awareness to the different sensations. If there's any tenseness, any, upsets, any discomfort, if there's like a knot in your stomach, if you're tense, if your body language is tense, if your face is tense, or if you're at ease. Okay, just start making a list. What's going on? Okay, and I want you to view this objectively. And to do this, imagine someone else other than you is just magically transported into your body. Okay, and is experiencing what you're experiencing now. What would that person's experience of you be like? What would that person rate, say on a scale of 1 to 10, that experience of you? Would it be a pleasant experience? Would that person be like, whoa, this was fun, this was pleasant, or holy shit, I'm very happy, I'm not that person. Get me out of here, get me out of this fucking body, okay? What would it be? And just for fun here, rate it. Imagine that person experiencing you, rate it objectively on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? And take it in one more time. You can open your eyes now and give me the answer. Okay, virtually give me the answer. That's the real answer. That's the honest answer. It's not the answer you give out of habit, mentally. This is what it's really like to be you. Okay, and I can guarantee you, you're nowhere near a 10 out of 10, and you're nowhere near where you originally mentally thought you were. Okay, for me, back in the day, I used to be a 3 out of 10. That was me. That was the experience that I had of myself. Okay, and I want you to view this as your baseline, your foundation, your default. This is you at a core level. And it's pretty crazy to realize, underneath it all, underneath all the distractions, underneath your, external circumstances, your life situation, this is you. Okay, and again, most of us, our state of being, our experience of ourselves is just shit. Okay, 3 out of 10, me back in the day, it was horrible. You know, I was in this constant state of anxiety, paranoia, dissatisfaction, isolation, depression. It was miserable. You know, I was the type of person, if I was out in the street, I couldn't even ask someone for the fucking time. That's how bad it was. I was just so anxious. Like walking down the street, couldn't ask someone for the time. Walking down the street, I felt like everyone was looking at me. Everyone was just judging me. I was extremely like just closed off, like don't look at me, don't look at me. Like it was stressful to leave the fucking house. It was so bad for me that even at family meals, like say it was a big get together over the holidays where cousins, extended family comes in and everyone wants to know, what's new with you, I would dread that. I'd be like, don't pick me, don't pick me. Julian, what's new with you? I'd almost be unable to answer. I'd be like, nothing much. Really? Well, speak up. Why are you so quiet? Are you shy? I'd be like, it was bad. Even at school, like growing up, when you have to read a book, around the classroom, and they randomly pick different people. So it's like, you start reading, Sarah. So she'll start reading the first few lines or paragraphs. Now you pick up where she left off. Now you. For me, that felt like Russian roulette. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It was so bad. And that was me on a daily basis, just in this continuous state of shit. And again, this is most people, and I'm sure, as I hate to say this, I'm sure you can relate, because this is the world that we live in. We're all in this shitty state, and we're all unaware of it. And this is the scary part. We're unaware of it, and we just take it for granted. Why? Because it's always been this way. We never bring our awareness to it. It's always been like this. And the world around us is built around us trying to avoid us, trying to never be with ourselves, trying to never bring our awareness to it. So it's like distraction, focus on this, go get this. And that's life. A way I like to illustrate this is if I'm giving a seminar, for example, I always make everyone just shut the fuck up for a second. It's like, hey, shut the fuck up. For 10 seconds, don't make a sound. And it gets really quiet. And the one thing that stands out, just humming in the background, is the AC. You want a wacky example? We all have like this refrigerator hum, let's just say, like this constant, subtle anxiety. Yeah, we're so used to it, we don't even realize it. Similar to this here. You probably haven't realized it until I'm pointing it out now. If you're all very quiet, what do you hear? It's been going on this entire time. Yeah, we're like, this is normal. That's what's going on inside us all the time. That's why it's like, we've even, like we're always escaping, we've even designed a life where we can escape more and more and more. It's like very little do you just stand still and do nothing. We're always on our cell phone, go home, turn on the TV, computer. It's like we're always doing. Otherwise you fall back to this. It's like you're like, it's like I got to do. This here is unfortunately how most people go about their lives. And this leads to a life of coping, and it leads ultimately to a life of escapism. Okay, so view it like this. Right here, you have the 10 out of 10. Here you have the 1 out of 10. For me, again, I was around a 3. So instead of being at a 10 out of 10 baseline, where you feel great, amazing, alive, abundant, and you can, from there, use that as a platform to just thrive in life, okay, and propel yourself and your results even higher. Instead, you're coping with this shit. You're coping with the 3 out of 10. And all your energy, all your focus, all your awareness is directed towards that. That's life. That's most people. And then, of course, because all your energy is directed towards that, your life situation, okay, the external circumstances get shittier. So now you have to cope with all of that, and then you have to cope with even more because it gets shittier and shittier, and it's this downward spiral. And this is, unfortunately, the direction that most people's lives are heading. You can try it as an experiment here. Just go out in a public area and just look around you. Look at the people around you and ask yourself, how many people at that moment in time do you see who genuinely look happy, alive, and fulfilled? How many people do you see who genuinely look like they're just fucking thriving on life? Like they're just fucking there. They're present. You can see it in their eyes. There's that light in the pupils. There's that energy where you're like, wow, that person is fucking alive. That person's taking it in, my guess is not many, if not any. What you're going to see instead are people just closed off, struggling, afraid, coping. Again, that's the biggest one. It's like fucking coping. You're just coping through life, just trying to survive with that shitty state of being, compensating, escaping it. Okay, and if you think about it too, if you don't have this 10 out of 10, because that really is your oxygen, you can't breathe. And you're spending your entire life not living, but escaping. Okay, coping leads to escapism. It's a life of escapism. Everything you do is simply an escape. You know, you can ask yourself, like, let's just take drinking alcohol for an example. Sometimes you drink because you enjoy it. You enjoy the taste, you're feeling fucking awesome. You're like, hey, let's have a drink. Other times you drink to numb yourself. You know, maybe you broke up with someone, you feel horrible, so you're like, oh, just have a drink to just numb it. You're not enjoying the taste, you're just drinking to numb. That's how most people go about life. Instead of taking it in, instead of enjoying it, they're just trying to numb and drown this shit. Okay, if they're looking for a purpose, I love this example, a purpose. You know, you're like, you need a purpose. They're not authentically drawn towards their purpose. They're just grasping for a purpose to escape this and to numb it, to cope with it. Nothing is authentic, nothing is genuine. It's just this life of escapism. Like you've never actually taken in what's around you. You've never tasted life. Now, the second question that I want to ask you here is, do you think that baseline, that foundation, that default, that experience of you is ever going to change? And this is the scary one. This used to scare the shit out of me and just frustrate me. It was bad, okay? Because most people aren't aware of it. But now that you are, you're like, oh man, this experience of me, oh shit, I'm fucking 3 out of 10. Let's fix it. Let's fucking fix it. So you get into, personal development, you get into improving yourself, you start venturing down the now popular road of success, okay? And this is where it gets fucking scary, because the more you venture down this road, the more you start realizing that the things you thought would fix your default, would fix that baseline, didn't. And that's when it gets scary. You're like, whoa, I did that, and it's still not working. I've improved my relationships, I've improved my life situation, I've traveled, I've experienced all this, I've worked on my personality, I've removed all these negative traits, I've added positive ones, I'm going to all these retreats, I'm meditating, I'm changing my diet, my health, etc., etc. But underneath it all, it's still the same. And that scared me because, that was my whole first part of my personal development journey, let's just say, was me trying to fix this baseline. And I would achieve things. I'd be like, well, let's get, I'd probably feel better if I had social skills and I got a really healthy relationship with a beautiful girl. Let's get this girl thing handled. Let's get the success with women handled. And I did. I'm like, underneath it all, I still feel shitty. Let's get my finances handled. Get the finances. Didn't work. Let's work on some fame. Maybe some approval and validation will work. Nope. And at the end, I was like, well, I've tried it all, and it's still not changing. Is it ever going to change? The more I did, the more I got, the more I had, the more I achieved. It just became clearer and clearer that it didn't work. And this is something that a lot more people are realizing nowadays, with the development of technology and the internet. Versus before, it's a lot easier to, achieve certain things. Say you want to start an online business, now you can. The internet just opens so many doors, and we're kind of realizing we're slowly realizing, we're extremely stubborn, but we're slowly realizing, man, it's not working. I got what I thought would fix this, but it didn't. I started my business. Why, underneath it all, do I still feel this shitty? Okay, and even personal development, traditional personal development, doesn't help with that. Because what is traditional personal development doing? It's tweaking the external. It's tweaking the surface. It doesn't go deep in terms of what's it like being you. It's, hey, what's your personality? Let's add this to your personality. Let's tweak this. Let's nuke this. It never gets to this baseline. Okay, it never gets to true personal transformation. You're just stuck with it. And again, just view it this way. If this is the baseline, this is you, then there's your personality. What most people do is they try to get external things like, fame, money, girls, success, health, etc., travel, etc., etc. That doesn't work. It's just on the surface. So then you're like, well, let's tweak this, my personality here. Confidence, outgoingness, positivity. Let's do a positivity challenge, positive focus. Let's go out, and I don't know, add willpower, add hustle, etc., etc. But it's still the surface. If you take away all that shit, you're still, for me, 3 out of 10. And what you have to start realizing here, and this is what I want to really hammer home, is that maybe the answer isn't more money, more girls, more success. Maybe the answer isn't more books, more courses, more traditional personal development, more seminars. Maybe the answer, just maybe, lies beyond all of that. Okay, and of course, don't misinterpret this. I'm not saying that any of these things are bad. I'm not saying don't go for success. Don't, work on your personality. Fuck all that. Of course not. Okay, like that will help big time for the external, but it just doesn't address that baseline. That's what I'm saying. Whenever I say this to people, always experience a little bit of resistance. You may be experiencing it right now because, you've probably invested a lot in these things. You've probably been working on them a lot. And I'm telling you, fuck all this. It's not going to work. And you're like, no, I've spent 2-3 years working on myself and on my personality. It has to work. Okay, there may be some resistance, but be honest with yourself. That's the best way. Be honest. Has anything really changed? Or is all of this just pure mental masturbation? It's this big circle jerk. Like, let's positive focus, self-help, girls, success, money, business, and like nothing's fucking changing. Be honest. If you're not 10 out of 10, it's not working. And this is really what we're all after. It's getting to this deep work. It's getting to changing our baseline, our default. Okay, you think you want money, you think you want success, you think you want women, whatever it is you're in for, that's just an illusion. Okay, that's just gonna keep you chasing fucking phantoms. What you really want is this. If you go back to, me and my journey, I'm like, I want the women. Why? Because I thought that if a girl liked me, I could finally like myself and I'd finally feel 10 out of 10. Or if I had X amount of women, if all these women love me, I can finally love myself and be complete. Why do you want to make money? To be cool, to be rich, to buy cool things, to have a sense of security, so I have this reserve. So if shit hits the fan, I don't die, I'll survive, to be able to relax and feel at ease to achieve 10 out of 10. Why do you want to develop yourself? Why do you want to improve yourself? Why do you want to reach your full potential? To be happy to reach 10 out of 10. If you follow the trail of whys, okay, whatever you're trying to achieve right now, just ask yourself, why? It always leads to affecting and improving your baseline. Okay, every single action that we perform is in hopes of achieving this, and this isn't just you and me, this is everyone, okay? We're in need of this. This is what we're all craving today, and again, we're not going to stop until we achieve this. We're willing to, if you take a look around, just turn on the news, we're willing to destroy the world trying to get here. Okay, and nothing's fucking working. And this is why I created this program. This is why I created Transformation Mastery. It's what it's about. It's about breaking out of this endless, futile rat race that's just going nowhere. We're just looking in the wrong directions, chasing phantoms, ruining the earth, ruining ourselves, ruining our relationships with other people, just ruining fucking everything. Snapping out of that, snapping out of coping, going beyond the temporary, superficial methods and results, and producing real, lasting transformation. Okay, that's what this product's about. This is what we're going to be focusing on here. It's about transforming the quality of that experience of yourself, which will then affect everything. Okay, there's that old expression, wherever you go, there you are. That applies to you, say, going on vacation. You're like, well, man, if I just go on vacation, I'll feel awesome. Then you're just stuck with yourself. But if you go deeper, that baseline follows you everywhere. And that baseline affects everything. If you change it, you will see you will immediately step into an entirely new experience of living, an entirely new experience of the world. And you'll just see. You won't even be able to imagine what will start happening once you start coming from abundance, once you're able to breathe, once you're able to start thriving, once you get out of coping, once you can finally live. I mean, it's crazy. You get to the cause, you change this, and in an instant, you step into an entirely new world. Instead of walking through the world with the brakes on, if you will, where it's heavy, you're just kind of dragging yourself through it. Suddenly it'll be fun. It'll be, you'll appreciate life. You'll enjoy life. You won't be dreading it. I remember me back in the day, I dread life. It's crazy. I'd look forward to falling asleep at night. I'd look forward to being with my dreams. Like, I'm going to dream of something, I can finally escape life and fall asleep with my dreams. And I dread waking up the next day. And as soon as I woke up, I'm like, oh man, fuck, I'm awake. Got to make it through the day. Make it through the day. Like, what the fuck is that? I'm going to make it through the day. Let's just try to go on autopilot here. Let's go to work. Let's kind of just zone out, and hopefully time will fly by. And then I finish work, I go home. Let's eat some shitty food, like, get the sensory pleasure. Let's watch some torrented movie or something, some torrented show. Like, just watch it, escape reality. Am I tired yet? No. Another show. Oh, finally escape. Fall asleep, and it was on a repeat. Fuck that. If you're trying to escape life, fuck that. If you dread life, fuck that. Let's start appreciating life. Let's start looking forward to life. Let's start living. Okay, and that's what this will do. This program will open an entirely new way of living for you, where you're no longer coping or escaping, and you no longer have to spike that baseline either. Okay, and that's something that's pretty interesting too. You may get, let's just say, something new. You buy a new cell phone. I like that example. You buy a new phone, and you feel a little bit better. You're like, whoa, a fucking new phone, and all excited. But it's only temporary, and then it starts dying down. You're like, oh man, I got to do something else to spike my baseline. So there's always this effort and this stress of like keeping it up there and not falling back to, that 3 out of 10. Instead, you're 10 out of 10, and there's nothing you need to do to spike it. All that effort, that stress is gone, and you'll be able to create that upward spiral instead of going down. Okay. You'll also start finally being in control of your life, being empowered. Until you fix this baseline, everything you do is in reaction to it. You're not really living authentically. You're not living a life of your own design. Okay, you're living a life in reaction to this shitty baseline. And this is why people really don't know themselves. Especially nowadays, there's so many options, and there's this angst that's amplified where people don't know what the right thing to do is. It's like, is it this? Is it, everything's changing so fast? They're confused. They're afraid. And that's because you're not connected with yourself. Everything, you're always in a reaction. You never have time to, connect with myself and then come from a place of authenticity. If you don't know what your purpose is, it's because you're grasping, until I keep it fun and light, it's because you're grasping for things as an escape. You're grasping in a reaction to this baseline. It's not, let's see what I'm naturally inspired to do. It's not out of inspiration, it's out of desperation. You'll finally rediscover who you are. You'll finally be free to do what you authentically want to do and to find out what you actually want. There's another reason you're not fulfilled. You don't know what you want. You'll finally gain true core confidence. Okay, it doesn't depend on anything. And understand this too. It's impossible to be confident, to feel, at ease and just ready to attack the world if you're not 10 out of 10. You're always trying to compensate. You never feel like you're enough. Changing that baseline will get to that. Okay, you'll feel complete. You'll finally be able to love yourself instead of trying to escape yourself. And you'll no longer be addicted to approval and validation. And that's a big one. It's like we're controlled by our addiction to this approval, validation, anything to fix this, to fill that void. And I'm sure you know people like this, maybe yourself, they have this, they're like this black hole. There's this void inside of them. They're just trying to take to cope with that experience they have with themselves. Fix that, your addiction's gone. Okay, and you'll finally feel deserving. Huge. A lot of barriers to success is you just don't feel like you deserve it, and you self-sabotage. You can test yourself here. How do you react, or how do you feel if someone compliments you? You know, if someone's like, hey, I like your shirt. Can you endure that compliment? Or you're like, oh, this shirt or whatever. Or you just like, try to like brush it off, like just don't compliment me. I don't deserve a compliment. Or can you actually endure it? If you can't endure a compliment, you can't endure happiness, you can't endure success. There's probably a lot of fear. So you're going to sabotage a lot of opportunities, and here's how you fix it. Okay, and of course, this will affect all areas of life: health, wealth, relationship, everything. Okay, and it'll just keep getting better and better. As I mentioned before, you will not believe the things that will start happening, and it just gets better. You will come out of this differently than you entered. This program is completely unique. There's nothing really that compares with it. So brace yourself. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. Let's do this.